Ciao Bianconeri! Hello and welcome everybody back to the Bianconeri Show. This is episode 4 and I am your host, Juve AJ. And with me today, as always, is Martina. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm doing good as always.
That's great to hear. I'm glad that we can get back into the recording studio and talk about Juve.
Yeah, finally. It's been a while, but football is finally coming back. Just a few weeks for the Serie A to begin, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It's been a while since we saw some Serie A games. Obviously, some of the leagues started today, such as the Premier League, the French League. I think the Portuguese League started as well. So I'm excited for Juve to get back to, actual competition.
Yeah, because we played preseason. Obviously, it didn't go as we planned, but it's just preseason. So I'm excited to see more competition and Serie A games.
Yeah, I think it's good that Juve have these next 2 weeks to prepare for the Serie A. Obviously, we have some difficult fixtures that we'll talk about later, especially in the beginning of the Serie A. But yeah, how about we talk about the Juventus Atletico Madrid game?
Damn. It was a tough game. I mean, I expected it to be like this. Honestly, I thought Atleti was going to score a little bit more on us just because of their game against Real Madrid. But obviously, they changed basically the entire team in the second half, as well as Juve. So it was a good game, though.
Yeah, we saw how Atleti completely destroyed Real Madrid, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago. It was just a ridiculous game. Obviously, Diego Costa got 4 goals. Joao Felix got a couple. He got a couple assists as well. So I was expecting Atleti to come out strong, but I was, pleasantly surprised about how Juve came out and played the game.
Yeah, I was happy. And also we saw some changes in the starting lineup. Obviously, Cancelo is not in the team anymore, so De Sciglio was a starter. We started again as a 4-3-3 with Szczesny on goal, then De Sciglio, De Ligt, Chiellini, and Alexandro. And in the midfield, we had Khedira, Pjanic, and then Rabiot. And in the attacking, we had Ronaldo, Higuain, and Douglas Costa. What did you think of the starting lineup? Were you happy? Were you surprised?
No, I think it was pretty predictable lineup. I was a little bit surprised about Khedira starting. Obviously, he grabbed the goal, which was good for him. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty strong lineup. Especially, I've been wanting to see Douglas Costa play since summer started. He's finally fit again, and he had an amazing game.
Yeah, I was so excited for him, honestly, and he proved everyone what he's capable of, mostly under Sarri, and he was amazing. I wish he had a goal,
Yeah, I mean, he was close. He had a couple of nice little dribbling plays that he got free from his defender, and he can sometimes be a little bit play just by himself and try to take his man on and stuff like that. But that's part of his characteristics as a player, and I think he's gonna fit completely into Sarri's style of play. So.
And what did you feel of De Ligt and Chiellini as the starting backline?
It was good. Obviously, they got scored on twice, which was not the best. But, I mean, come on, Joao Felix, his 2 goals were...
He's a beast.
Obviously, it's looking like it's going to pay off the price that Atleti paid for him. But then again, it's only preseason. We're going to have to wait until actual competition begins to see how he's going to, develop as a player.
Yeah, for sure. I know that we started with De Ligt and Chiellini, and then Bonucci came in for Chiellini. Which couple did you like the best?
I think we're gonna see a lot of De Ligt and Chiellini together, especially in the the bigger matches this year, Champions League, the Napolis, the Inter. So it's gonna be interesting to see that duo.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
Now Chiellini almost scored a volley in the first half. That was crazy.
Yeah,
it was a great save by Oblak.
Yeah, I mean Oblak is an amazing goalie, but damn, if he scored that, I was about to scream.
Yeah, I mean the first couple minutes and the first like 15, 20 minutes of the first half were pretty much all Atleti. It was back and forth, but obviously Joao Felix grabbed the goal the minute 20. It was a beautiful volley. It hit Lemar's leg before going in, but it was a pretty nice goal. And then Khedira came back minute 29 and just got a shot from the edge of the box into the left-hand corner. And Oblak was just completely surprised.
Couldn't do anything,
I think he was surprised by the shot, and it just kind of slid in very slowly. I was surprised that it went in that slowly.
Yeah, I mean it was a good goal. I'm excited that he scored.
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to see everybody scoring, not just the forwards and stuff like that. But how about that goal line clearance by Alexandro?
Damn, I mean, Alexandro is just an absolute amazing player. He's always, there helping the defense, also going up in the attacking line. But damn, that ball that he saved was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think he was one of the best players on the pitch, especially in the first half. Obviously, he had that save. He also helped in the attack and the transition from defense to attack. And yeah, I mean, he came back recently from vacations after playing with Brazil and winning the Copa America. And I mean, it looks like he never left. It looks like he's been training since day one with Sarri. And I don't know, I'm excited for this year. This year, we have a pretty decent backline. Obviously, our right back situation isn't the best, but De Chilio, do you think he was at fault for the first goal?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think he could have, made it a little bit more difficult for Joao Felix, but how about that second goal?
Oh my God, that goal.
It was a great pass by, I think it was Lemar, and then, I don't know, man, the runs that Joao Felix make,
yeah,
it's
that
impressive.
Kid is amazing.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, I'm sad that we didn't buy him.
No, I mean, for 100...
Yeah, I mean, for that much money, but...
It would have been nice, but at the same time, I don't know. But during that play, I think it would have been nice to see the Leeds kind of, trace back a little bit better and get the ball clear.
Yeah, I don't want to put the fault on the lead, but he could have done a little bit more. Yeah,
regardless, it was a great goal by Joao Felix.
It was an amazing goal.
But yeah, then we saw halftime result was 2-1. Then, like you said, Chiellini came out, I think mostly to prevent that injury that he had before the Asian tour from coming back. Bonucci came in. I think also Sarri's testing, the duos in the back to see what works best and stuff like that. But
we basically changed the entire team. I think everyone was subbed off.
That was around the 60th minute.
Yeah.
But before that, we saw, great play by Juventus. We had possession of the ball most of the time. There was so many corners in this game. It was 14 corners for Juve. We had 60% possession. We saw Rabiot hit the post.
Damn.
That left-footed shot. Wow. I mean, I said it on Twitter since that first Tottenham game. Rabiot has just been amazing. Especially we saw him in this Atletico game. I mean, his off the ball movement is great. His on the ball movement is great. The way he just links the defense and the attack, it's that transitional player that we needed.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what Rabiot can do, later on in the midfield. We saw in this game, most of all, that all the midfielders play, like Bentancur and Khedira and Matuidi. Who do you think is the best trio for the midfield?
Oof, that is way too hard to tell right now, especially since Ramsey hasn't come back from the injury. I think Pjanic will be in 100% in that Jorginho style role that Sarri liked to play at Napoli and Chelsea. From what we've seen, obviously, Rabiot has completely changed the midfield. Like I said, he's that transitional player to command the midfield, and he gets up and attacks, and he puts through balls, and he has a nice shot. Obviously, he hit the post today, but that third spot is up for grabs. Could be Ramsey's when he comes back from injury. Could be Betancourt if he proves himself. To Sarri. I mean, I don't know. What about you?
I love Bentancur. I think he is a amazing player. We saw him play with Uruguay in the Copa America. He always does an amazing job. But with Juve, sometimes he lacks a little bit. He is not that consistent. Of course, we haven't seen him play that much. So I hope Sarri puts him more in the field, give him a little bit more time, and definitely to prove himself.
I think he's an amazing player. I mean, a lot of teams would like to have someone like him in the midfield, and he's still young. He obviously cannot play the 38 games of Serie A when you have Khedira and Matuidi and Ramsey and Rabiot and all these people who are pretty much ahead of him. But I hope he gets playing time because, we saw last year what he's capable of. We've obviously seen him with Uruguay at the World Cup and now at the Copa America. And, he has a lot of potential. And I don't know, I think he's one for the future.
For sure. I also want to see Ramsey play. He still hasn't played with Juve, so who knows?
Yeah, the big thing with Ramsey is seeing if he can stay fit because obviously he's had a lot of injury problems in the past. So I think that's going to be the biggest factor for Ramsey.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hope that the medical team, put him ready and is working with him at the best to have him at 100% as soon as possible.
For sure. Now, one thing that really surprised me is, like you said before, 27 shots and only 6 on target. But of those 27, 15 of those shots were inside of the box. I mean, Juventus, it was good to see that we're attacking. We're shooting a lot. But of the 15 shots inside the box and of 27 shots, only 1 went inside the goal.
But think about it. It's Oblak in goal. It's not any goalie, Oblak is, in my opinion, top 4 in Europe and in the world. So that's why.
I mean, yeah, Oblak is, obviously, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but only 6 of our shots went on target. So, I mean, 1 goal, so he only had, 5 saves?
He had other saves.
Right, but from 15 shots inside the box, I mean, you're not like, it's not an outside the box shot where it's difficult, to get it on target. I mean, there's obviously some accuracy issues that we have to get through, and we have to just put more shots on target. I mean, the more shots we let the goalkeeper face, the more goals we're gonna score. So
yeah, for sure. But at the same time, 27 shot, it's better than last year because I remember some games we had like 10 shots.
Yeah, it's definitely improvement on last year. We see, in the last 4 friendly games, we had 7 goals, but at the same time, we got scored on 9 times. So it's just we have to work on our defense, obviously, while we work on our offense as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially now with Douglas Costa back in the squad, Dybala possibly getting that false 9 role. We need to see more goals, and we need to improve the defense as well.
For sure, we have a lot to work on, but we have 2 weeks to, get the most ready for the Serie A beginning.
Of course. I mean, overall, I think Juve played its best preseason game out of all the 4 that we played. We saw a lot of possession. We saw a lot of nice passes. We saw, glimpse of that Sarri ball. So it was an overall good game, even though we didn't get the result we wanted. It was nice seeing Juve play, pretty football.
Yeah, for sure. I know that we have made a lot of mistake in the defense, but I'm excited to see, what the backline will actually be, because in the last 4 games, we played completely different backlines. Now we have De Sciglio and Alexandro. since Cancelo left. But will Danilo actually play in the beginning or not? That's stuff that we have to figure out, and these 2 weeks will help a lot.
Yeah, and that's all up to Sarri. I think he has a plan, and also depending on how the market turns out, we're going to have a good starting lineup for the first Serie A game. But I was really excited to see Douglas on the pitch. I mean, he was superb. It was, amazing to see him enjoying his gameplay, and I think he was the best one on the pitch.
Yeah, definitely one of the best in the pitch, along with Alexandro and Rabiot, in my opinion. Those were the top 3.
Now, Higuaín is one that I wasn't too happy to see play. He didn't really have a good game at all. I think he had one good shot that went wide to the left, but overall, I don't see him staying at Juve. I
don't think anybody sees him stay.
I really hope he accepts that deal to go to Roma. I don't see him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he's very lost in the field. He's not, I don't know. He doesn't fit.
Yeah, and his touch is not great. I mean, he did a couple bad passes and we lost possession.
And he's not like a very much finisher in the box.
Yeah, he only had 1 goal, which was versus Tottenham. And since then, he hasn't really provided much to the squad.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with him. Someone that I was also excited was Cuadrado playing as a right back.
I wouldn't say I was excited to see him there. I don't think Juve can go into competition games such as Champions League with Cuadrado at right back.
Of course not. That's not his position.
Exactly. He didn't play. He didn't have a terrible game. I think he played pretty good at right back, at least against Atleti. Obviously, he's not the best defensively. We saw him mostly in the attacking phase, but he had a couple good headers to clear the ball, and overall he wasn't terrible. So I don't know how we're gonna deal with Cuadrado, De Sciglio, and Danilo as right backs, but I don't know. We're gonna see.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out in that defensive line, as I was saying.
Danilo didn't play terrible. He played on the left side, obviously, because Cuadrado was playing on the right. But I wonder if that's the plan, to have De Sciglio and Cuadrado on the right and Danilo and Alexandro on the left.
I think that Danilo, since he can play on both sides, he will be the second change, either for Alexandro or De Sciglio. And I mean, also De Sciglio can play on both sides. So if anything, they can turn each other. But Cuadrado, I think he might be like a third option, like if we have nothing else to play with, then that's when Cuadrado will play as a right back.
Yeah, I think Cuadrado, if he stays and if he's going to be playing at right back, he's going to be playing the easier games, maybe the Copa games. I don't know. It's a big transition process for Juventus. So there's been a lot of changes. Ultimately, it's up to Sarri and what he wants to play.
For sure. And then, again, these weeks will help the team, after all, figure out what will happen. Of course, Danilo only played had only one training with the team. So he has to, know the teammates and know Sarri and everything. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we saw a little bit of Dybala in that game. He came on in the 60th minute. I wasn't really sure what role he was playing, what his position was.
I think he was a false 9, but I felt like he was a little bit lost as well. Sarri said that his evaluation of Dybala is not complete, that he didn't train a lot with the team, so we'll see what happens. But I don't know. At the beginning, I wasn't that much convinced. I know he had a couple shots, which were good, but I felt like he was a little bit lost. Yeah,
he drifted a little bit to the right wing when Bernardeschi kind of took over the middle of the field. But, obviously Dybala only had a couple training sessions with the squad. And I don't know, if it's between him and Higuaín to have that 9/false 9 role, I'm excited to see Dybala play because I do not want to see Higuaín there. But man, since the beginning, Sarri has always said that he wants to base his forward players on Ronaldo, Dybala, and Douglas Costa. So obviously we know what Ronaldo can do, and this game we saw what Douglas Costa can provide the team. Now I'm excited to see if Dybala stays, what he can provide the team.
Yeah, I hope that, in these 2 weeks, I think that we might gonna have another preseason match, hopefully. So maybe we can see Dybala play, as a starting in the starting 11. But I just hope that Dybala does something, brings something to the table, because Alexandro, he also came back from holidays the same day as Dybala. So it's not that, they have basically the same form. But Alexandro has been playing all the games, and he's been playing amazing. I mean, one of the best of the team. And Dybala only had a couple minutes, and he's lacking form. So we'll see.
Yeah, so now the ICC is over. It was not a great tournament for Juventus.
Awful.
We placed 9th out of 12th with only 2 points. Obviously, the 2 points came against Inter. We tied, and then we got an extra point for winning the penalty shootout. And we only finished above Real Madrid, Milan, and Chivas. Obviously, Real Madrid had a terrible preseason. I didn't see any of the Milan or the Chivas games, but it's not great to see Juventus not being able to win. And like I said earlier, it's like a curse with these new uniforms. We haven't been able to win a game in any of them. Not in the home uniform, not in the away uniform,
not in the blue ones.
And yeah, now the first game with the third kid, the blue uniform, and we lost against Atleti. But I think it's just a case that we need to get our first victory. Hopefully that will come against Parma, and then just to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the Serie A to start. As you just said, the first game of Serie A and for Juventus will be on August 24th against Parma. And I mean, we have a very tough beginning of Serie A this year.
Yeah, the first few matches are rough. I remember I was watching the draw for the Serie A fixtures, and I saw Parma. I was like, okay, that's not terrible. And then the second match will be against Napoli, which is that's the last few seasons that's been the Scudetto race. So it's going to be a tough one, especially because I don't think Sarri ball is going to be into effect by that time. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough one.
But at the same time, I mean, we watched some games of Napoli and they haven't been that strong in preseason.
Yeah, that's true as well. And, they're still waiting on a couple of transfers to happen. So... And Napoli also plays Fiorentina in their first game, so they also have a
strong games.
Yeah, they have a tough start to the season. And then one thing that surprised me was supposedly there was only going to be one big match per game week, and in the second game week already we have Juve and Napoli, and then the Roma derby in Lazio versus Roma, which is those are two big matches just to start off the season.
It's going to be exciting at the beginning,
For sure. And then that third game is going to be versus Fiorentina. And it's not an easy start for Juve, especially, we're going to be getting the ball rolling with Sarri ball. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see if the team can cope with the pressure and get the victories.
Good thing is that we have a couple of days, a couple weeks left to work on getting ready physically, mentally, learning the tactics, and also hopefully bringing some new players.
Yeah. So we're in, obviously it's summer and it's transfer season. As of right now, there's not much happening, but we saw that the Premier League transfer window closed on Thursday, so now they cannot buy anybody. They can sell players, which is good, but usually after that transfer window closes for the Premier League, we don't see many transfers happening regarding these English teams. So one big transfer obviously was Cancelo's move to City and Danilo coming to Juventus.
He was definitely a weird, strange transfer, mostly because Cancelo is one of the best right backs that Juve had and one of the best at the moment.
Yeah, so we saw that officially we sold Cancelo for 65 million euros and we acquired Danilo at 37 million euros, which I think is a ridiculous figure for Danilo, which means that we made a profit of 28 million euros. And then obviously we got the Brazilian right back. But yeah, what you said is true. I mean, obviously, we heard the rumors, especially in the beginning of the transfer window, of Cancelo possibly leaving. Eventually, it became true. In the beginning, Juventus did not want to include Danilo in the deal, but I guess they just really wanted to get rid of Cancelo, or they wanted that profit. So we ended up, I think we got the short end of the deal, and we got Danilo.
Danilo is definitely not a horrendous player, he's just normal, nothing, over the top. Cancelo is definitely better, different type of player, of course, but there has been so much criticism with him. I got mad at some point, because the only thing I saw on the internet was, oh my god, Danilo, what an awful deal, he's so bad. And I mean, he's not so bad, he's just normal. It's just that people were so mad that Cancelo left and put it on Danilo. It's not Danilo's fault that he came to Juve. It's not because of Danilo that Cancelo left. So I'm sorry, but I've been so mad at that because I don't think it's fair to put that negative connotation on a player without even having him yet.
I think the biggest part of people getting so emotional over this transfer is the fact that we got so little money in addition to Danilo. I mean, Danilo is not worth 37 million in my opinion. Now, he had a very good run at Porto when he was there with Alexandro, but then obviously Madrid bought him, he didn't perform. Then he went to Manchester City under Pep. He did not perform again. Now, we have to pray that Danilo from Porto comes to Juve if we want a good right back, because at 37 million, I just don't see how anybody could be happy with that deal. Obviously, it's not Danilo's fault, and Juventini have to support him, but I don't know. It was just a very weird deal in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely a weird deal. But I hope, we can manage to push him and make him an amazing player.
So the biggest news of this weekend was Lukaku at Inter.
Damn, I don't even know what happened with that player. I mean, first Inter, then Juve, then now Inter again.
I mean, yeah, it's been a roller coaster with Lukaku. I don't know if this was Paratici's thoughts all along, if that was, what he was trying to do to get Inter to pay that hefty price for Lukaku. But, now he's at Inter. Obviously, he's not coming to Juve. I think a lot of people are very happy about that. And it's funny because when he was linked to Juve, a lot of Interistas, a lot of Milanistas were laughing at us saying, oh my God, you're going to give Dybala for Lukaku. And now Interistas are going crazy. They're like, oh my God, he's our most expensive signing ever. He's going to be a beast. And, I'm not doubting that Lukaku is a good player, but come on. You were laughing at us because we were going to get him, and now, you're hyping him up. I don't know.
That's what fans do sometimes,
For sure. But we saw that he has the number 9 now, which leaves
Took
the
it off
question.
from Icardi.
Yeah, and it opens up the question, where is Icardi going to end up?
Hopefully at Juve, in my opinion, but I know that Roma is also, interested in him.
Yeah, a Roma player, I think it was Juan Jesus.
Yeah, he commented.
Yeah, commented on his Instagram post, saying, "I'm waiting for you over here at Roma." But I don't know. I don't see him going to a side that is not in Champions League. A player of his caliber, also, I don't think he deserves to not be in Champions League. But
Plus, he wants Juve, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's firm on the fact that he only wants to come to Juve. And if not, he's just going to stay at Inter and collect his paycheck.
Yeah, we'll see. But I don't think, in my opinion, we'll stay at Inter. Mostly now that, I mean, they just took his number away, and I don't know.
Speaking about Icardi, now everybody is saying that there will be no Dybala for Icardi exchange.
I mean, I think Dybala said that he does not want to go to Inter. If he has to leave, he wants to go to, outside of Italy, maybe PSG. But, I mean, I hope he doesn't go to Inter. Mostly now that they have Lukaku, I don't think if he even will have a place,
I think Dybala is going to end up playing for Juve next season.
You think so?
I do. I don't think that he will leave Juventus. I don't think he wants to leave Juventus, and I don't know, unless they completely force him out and, just make a bigger mess than they've already made, the management. I don't see him outside of Juve. I think, the biggest possibility is Dybala to PSG, and that's only if, a bunch of different things happen. There's been reports that Real Madrid are trying very hard to sign Neymar. Reported that they offered 120 million plus Modric. Yes, plus Modric for Neymar. And then, that just leads to a bunch of different transfer happening.
Yeah, I mean, if Neymar, leaves PSG and joins Real Madrid or another team, that would mean that PSG is going to start pushing, to bring someone in, such as Dybala, since they're interested and stuff like that. That can open doors for Dybala joining PSG, which can, after all, open doors for Icardi coming to Juve, and, I mean, hopefully Higuain to Roma,
Yeah, I don't think Higuain to Roma will depend on that transfer. I think that if he leaves, he's going to leave regardless if Icardi comes or if Dybala leaves. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting next few weeks in this transfer window. Real Madrid, if they get Neymar, that's a big signing in addition to Hazard. Icardi to Juve will also be huge. And losing Dybala will also be big for Juve.
But at the same time, I mean, if we bring a finisher such as Icardi, maybe that will solve, some problems that we have, just as we talked before, that, 27 shots where only 6 were on target. That finisher of such as Icardi can solve that problems,
Yeah, and it's going to be crazy to see how these teams end up on September 2nd when the transfer window closes.
Yeah, there's not so much time left, but at the same time, so much can happen.
So apparently now Khedira is no longer on the market?
I don't even know what's happening. I mean, he was one of the first, to let go, I think. And he had already like 2 or 3 teams very interested in and everything. But now apparently he's staying.
Yeah, he didn't want to accept any of the offers that came in. And yeah, now it looks like he's staying. I guess Sarri likes the way he fits into the team, the way his tactical role plays out. But that was a big surprise for me. I thought it was just because he scored the goal, but apparently Sarri is keen on, letting him stay.
I mean, if you think about it, he played Khedira in the starting lineup in this game. In my opinion, the biggest game of the preseason. So that means something, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, he played the people who could be the starting 11 when we start Serie A. And if Khedira's there, it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit of a shock to what everybody was expecting, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I hope, I don't know if I want him to stay or not, but I just hope he brings something good after all to the team.
So in addition to Khedira staying, we'll switch over to the players that could leave. Obviously, we know Perin is on the market. Mandzukic is on the market. Higuain is on the market. Matuidi now is the favorite to leave instead of Khedira. Pellegrini is now joining Cagliari on a season-long loan. Rugani, we heard the reports that maybe Arsenal were going to send him out on a loan with an obligation to buy, but Arsenal ended up getting David Luiz from Chelsea, obviously. So we'll see where he ends up. There's reports that he might go to Roma.
He reportedly said yes to moving to Roma.
That will be interesting if, obviously Spinazzola is at Roma now, leaving from Juve. And if Rugani goes over there, that's two Juventini playing for Roma. That'll be interesting.
That's crazy. But I think that if Rugani leaves, we're going to have to bring someone else in.
Yeah, I do not want to see Juve starting the season with only 4 center backs. Obviously, Chiellini is turning 35 soon, and he's injury prone. Even before the season, the preseason started, he got a little knock. Now he played, but, we have to take care of him. I would have liked to see Cristian Romero, stay and maybe play that backup role at center back. But obviously he's back at Genoa.
I wonder if we can bring him back paying a fee,
I'm not sure the details of the loan, but I don't know. I think if we do sell Rugani, we're just going to go into the season with 4 center backs, which is
and
not...
just hustle until January?
Yeah, the good thing is that at least, Delite and Demiral are young, so they shouldn't have that big of a stamina waste. They can last playing a couple games in a row without a rest. But the biggest thing is, letting Chiellini get his rest and keeping him injury free.
And I don't know if you remember, but in some games at the end of the season last year, Emre Can also played in the back role. So maybe we can also, if we really need someone, he can also jump in.
Yeah, that's another option. I don't know how Sarri feels about that, but that's one to look at as well. Pellegrini is joining Cagliari on a 1-year loan. The 20-year-old will have his medical on Monday as is scheduled. He played 16 Serie A matches last season with Cagliari after Roma sent him on a loan deal. That's one that I was kind of excited to see. Obviously, Pellegrini is a bit of an up-and-comer. He's a young prospect for not only for Juventus, but for the Italian national team.
Honestly, I was expecting him to go on a loan, but I was expecting it to go right away, not waiting almost, 2 weeks?
Yeah, they waited a while, and he went to Sweden with the squad.
Didn't get any playing time.
Yeah, he didn't play, obviously, probably because of that loan deal was already set in stone. But, I mean, that's good. He's going to get playing time. He's going to, most likely be the starter at Cagliari. They already know him, so maybe he'll be ready next season to take that left back spot.
Yeah, hopefully. And, I mean, he's very young, so having that year of loan at Cagliari, he will play, improve, and hopefully come back stronger, and who knows what can happen in a year.
Yeah, regardless, Sarri was commenting that right now we have 6 players who will be out of the Champions League list, and it's going to be interesting to see who those players are that are going to get cut. If we don't manage to sell some of the players that we mentioned before, it's going to be rough because there's a lot of talent at Juve, obviously, and Champions League, that's the big stage. That's the stage where all the players want to be at. So people are going to have to work hard to earn their spot.
Do you think that Perin will be able to get sold? Or because of his injury, he's going to have to stay?
That's a tough one because obviously his injury doesn't allow him to play until about December. So I think worst case scenario, we keep him until December. He's going to rehab. And then in the January transfer window, we'll probably sell him.
Yeah, that's what I was also thinking. But, I mean, hopefully we get some bucks with him either now or in the next transfer window.
Of course. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. There's a couple weeks left in the transfer window to see, who moves and maybe who joins Juve. It's gonna be good to see how this team is gonna end up on September 2nd.
I don't think there is a lot that's going to change because the Premier League, transfer window already closed. So it's hard that we can get some players from them. I know we were talking Pogba, so who knows? But I just hope we can sell, the 2-3 players that we really want to sell, such as Higuain, maybe Mandzukic, Matuidi, who knows?
Yeah, we just have to wait and see. But speaking of the Premier League, kicked off this Friday, Liverpool-Norwich. Obviously, Liverpool had a 4-1 victory. And then, Manchester City came back on Saturday morning and responded with a 5-0 win.
Not. I was expecting it from that team,
Yeah, it wasn't really surprising. Sterling got a hat-trick. Mahrez got a hat-trick of assists. And it was an interesting one because VAR played a big role in that game.
Finally, it joined the Premier League as well, Started with the Serie A and La Liga and now moving on into the other big leagues.
Exactly. We saw Moise Kean make his debut with Everton. He came on as a substitute. That game ended 0-0, but hopefully we can see Kean make that starting 11 and grab some goals.
I think he will eventually, get that spot. Of course, he hasn't been playing with the team for a long time, so definitely that's the reason why he was subbed on. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see him play in the Premier League.
And speaking of Pogba, which at this point I don't think it's a big possibility for Juve, but he got 2 assists, and that assist to Rashford was it was amazing.
That half of the field pass, that touch that he had, beautiful.
Imagine this Juve squad with Pogba. I really wish that we can get him back.
I don't think it's going to happen this year, but maybe later on. Hopefully, he's a very good player.
Yeah, it was a very interesting weekend in the Premier League. Obviously, Manchester United won 4-0 against Chelsea. And it was a very interesting weekend in our fantasy Premier League. There's 21 of you guys that joined us. If you guys want to join our league, you can check out our Twitter for the league code. Obviously, the Premier League already started, but go ahead and join, guys.
Yeah, if you want to join, just message us as well, and we will be glad to give you the code and join the game.
That being said, I cannot wait until the Serie A starts. Watching these Premier League games this weekend really got my blood pumping, and I cannot wait to see Juve take the field.
Finally, some football.
Exactly.
It's been a while.
I'm very excited for this season, and yeah, thank you very much for listening, guys. You can catch us on all podcasting platforms and follow us on Twitter at Bianconeri Show. Follow us on Instagram at The Bianconeri Show and on Facebook as well at The Bianconeri Show.
And you can also follow us on our private pages. Follow me at Juve Designer and Juve AJ at Juve AJ on Twitter. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Ciao, Bianconeri!